now we have only seen how to assemble the robot. Now let us see how to breathe life into our robot using the software. We'll be controlling it using our mobile phone. The first step in the process is to download the UF2 file from the GitHub link provided to you. Once you open the link, you'll notice a folder named firmware. Click on it to go inside. And you need to download this UF2 file. If you take a look at readme.txt, you'll find the information regarding this UF2 file. So you'll notice that it's a Micropython firmware for the Raspberry Pi Pico WH. So I'll just click on it to go inside. And here on the right, I'll select download raw file to directly download it to my computer. Once it's downloaded, I'll go back. And here you'll notice two files, main.py and mecanum.py. Main.py is the Python code which is designed to work for a robot with regular wheels. As the name suggests, mecanum.py is designed to work for the robot with mecanum wheels. I'll click into it and similarly download this file to my computer. Now if you take a look at this code, you'll notice that there are a couple of functions. For example, as the name suggests, move forward function to move the robot forwards, and similarly we have move backwards, move stop to stop the robot, and move left and move right. And this is the web page function. This is what will be useful to control the robot through your mobile phone using the Chrome browser. And if you scroll down, you'll be able to see additional components of the code. And in all, this code is around 200 lines. Similarly, if you take a look at mecanum.py, you'll see similar functions to move the robot forwards and backwards, to stop the robot, to move the robot left, to move the robot right. And since this is a mecanum wheel robot, you'll also see a couple of special functions. For example, spin right, spin left, diagonal right forward, diagonal left forward. As the name suggests, it moves the robot diagonally. Mecanum wheels on the robot enables the robot to do all these functions. And my personal favorite, the zigzag function. Now, once again, this is the web server which will allow you to control the robot from your mobile phone through the web browser in it. And once again, you can come down and look at all the additional components in the code. So in all, this code is 375 lines. So I just downloaded main.py to my computer, and once that's done, I can also come back here. And one point I'd like to make here is that if you're downloading mecanum.py for your mecanum wheel robot, after downloading it, you need to rename it to main.py. This is because whenever you run the code present on the Raspberry Pi Pico WH, it searches for the code named as main, and that is the one which is executed as soon as you power on your board. So make sure to remember that. So once this is done, I can close GitHub. And then I can open File Explorer to verify the downloads. So we have the main.py Python file right here and our UF2 file. And now shortly we'll be uploading this to the Raspberry Pi Pico WH. Now we'll connect the Raspberry Pi Pico to our computer to upload the UF2 file we downloaded from GitHub. Now, while connecting, you need to follow the boot cell method. For this, you'll need one micro USB cable. I've already connected the other end of this micro USB cable to my computer. And this end, I'll be connecting it to my Raspberry Pi Pico W using the boot cell method. For that, I'll press and hold this boot cell button and connect this cable. And after the cable is connected, I'll stop pressing the button. So once that process is done correctly, you'll notice this window open up on your computer. You'll also see that it is named as RPI-RP2. Now this is the Raspberry Pi Pico W's internal storage. Here is where we will be pasting the UF2 file we downloaded from GitHub. So for that, I'll go to downloads where I've saved it. I'll copy this file, go back to the Raspberry Pi's internal storage and simply paste it. Now once this is pasted, I'll wait for a few seconds. Now once this process has been done successfully, we can say that Micropython has been installed on a Raspberry Pi Pico WH. Now this will enable us to upload Python codes to control our robot. Now after uploading the Micropython firmware to your Raspberry Pi Pico WH, the next step in the process is to download Thonny IDE. Thonny is the software through which you'll be uploading your Python codes to the Raspberry Pi Pico W. So to download this software, you'll go to thonny.org, and here you'll notice three options: Windows, Mac and Linux. Now since I'm on a Windows machine, I'll install this .exe file. I'll simply click on it and wait for it to download. Alright, now after that's finished downloading, I can just close this window and open File Explorer to continue with the next step. So if I go to downloads, I'll be able to see the exe file. Now to begin installation, I'll double click this exe file to open it. Install for all users. And I can just go along with this process. Click on next. I accept the agreement, click on next, next, next. Make sure you check this option of creating the desktop icon. Click on next and click on install. Wait a couple of seconds until it does its thing. So as you can already notice, it created a shortcut and it has finally finished. So you can click this finish button and that ends the process of installation. You can close this window and open Thonny by clicking on this shortcut on my desktop. And thus we have opened Thonny for the first time on our computer. Now here, if you'll notice, it says Python, it mentions its version. Now one thing here to notice is that this is the local Python on your computer. In order to upload Micropython files to the Raspberry Pi Pico, you'll need to change the interpreter. It can be done by going to Run, selecting Configure Interpreter, and here you'll be able to see this question along with a drop-down menu. Which kind of interpreter should you use? So as you can see, it is configured to local Python 3 currently, and I'll change it to Micropython for the Raspberry Pi Pico. I'll click on this and click OK. Once that's done, you'll notice the files on your local computer on the left. If you aren't able to see this, you can go to View and click on Files to enable it. So if I click on it, it goes away, and if I click on it once again, it comes back. Now I can close Thonny and go towards the next step. Once that's done, I can plug in the Raspberry Pi Pico to my computer and then open Thonny. Now I followed this process of plugging it in and then opening Thonny because once I do this, Thonny will be ready to use to upload Micropython code to the Raspberry Pi Pico. Now on the left, once again you'll notice the files on your computer, and on the bottom half you'll notice the internal storage of the Raspberry Pi Pico. Now currently it is empty, and now we'll be uploading the main.py code downloaded earlier. Also in the shell, you'll notice that it is currently configured to Micropython because we earlier changed it in the interpreter, and it has been configured for the Raspberry Pi Pico W. Alright, so once that is done, I can go to File, I'll click on Open. Now it gives me two options where to open from. If I select this computer, it will open a window which will allow me to upload files from my computer, which is the local storage. And as you already guessed, this option will allow me to open files from the Raspberry Pi Pico which I connected to my computer. So for now, I'll select this computer. A window opens up and I'll go to downloads where main.py has been saved. So I'll click this and wait for it to open. And now it has opened successfully. Now once this is opened, I can save this file by going to File, Save As. Now once again, it gives me two options just like earlier, where to save to, this computer or Raspberry Pi Pico. This computer will save the file to your computer itself as the name suggests, and selecting this option will save it to the storage of the Raspberry Pi Pico connected. Now notice this area of the screen where you'll see the storage of the Raspberry Pi Pico. Now as soon as I connect this, it is currently empty. Now as soon as I select this option, main.py will be visible on the left side of the screen. The file name will be the same, which is main.py. I'll click on OK. Wait for a couple of seconds and there you have it. Main.py is successfully uploaded to the Raspberry Pi Pico to its internal storage. And finally, I can close Thonny because the work here is done and just disconnect it from my computer. Now that we finished all those steps, here's an important note. Whenever you upload a Python file to the Raspberry Pi Pico W, you want to make sure that you name it as main.py. This is because any file named as main.py is the file that runs whenever the Raspberry Pi Pico is turned on. So irrespective of you using regular wheels or Mecanum wheels, make sure to do this.